We are back on the record in case number 349743. Party, see, did we go? We did. Parties and counsel are present. This is the defendant's motion to withdraw.
Correct. It's our motion to withdraw and our motion to continue the trial date as well. Obviously, we got an opposition to the motion to continue the trial. Our justification for asking for the continuance is we need Dr. Paglini's report in order to actually have a discussion at the upcoming hearing, which I believe is scheduled for March 13th. So in order to have a competent discussion, we need that report in place, and we need Dr. Paglini to basically have the opportunity to discuss with their expert regarding his particular report, and that hasn't happened. Apparently, the first available date that he had following our telephone conference on February 2nd was February 9th for my client to go in and speak with him. He indicated that there's no possible way that he's going to have his report done by the time of trial in this matter, and that it's presumably going to take another 30 to 60 days before he even gets that done. So there really isn't anything to argue here that I can see. I mean, obviously she's going to oppose our motion, but we need that report, and you can't really proceed without it. So, I mean, obviously it's at your discretion as to whether or not you want to continue the trial, but...
Okay, are you withdrawing?
Or? We are withdrawing as well. Yeah, and the reason we wanted her to be present is to basically indicate there was no opposition to our actual motion to withdraw, and that would have necessarily come from her. But we wanted her to be present just in case she did have any opposition to us withdrawing. But that is still our position that we are requesting.
And it's a breakdown in communication?
Correct.
Ms. Johnson, on their motion to withdraw?
Do I stand?
You haven't filed any opposition?
Yeah, you can stand. Or sit.
No, I wasn't aware I was supposed to file an opposition.
You speak aloud, please.
I wasn't aware I was supposed to file an opposition.
Well, generally speaking, if you're not communicating with counsel and counsel can't communicate with you, it's very difficult for them to do their job. The motion to withdraw is granted. Counsel, Ms. Johnson, is not appointed in civil matters. Therefore, it's your responsibility to either hire a new attorney or be prepared to proceed to trial. You're held to the same standards as attorneys are in terms of admissible evidence, the preclusion of any hearsay evidence, making objections, responding to objections that may be made to evidence you intend to present, the rules of discovery and exchange of documents. Everything is the same for you as though you were an attorney. You understand that? All right.
And in addition to our motion to continue the trial, it does necessarily go hand in hand with our withdrawal. We'd like to give her the opportunity, obviously, to hire new counsel because it is a pretty substantial file, and give them the opportunity to actually review it and be ready for trial when and if it's actually reset to a later date.
Ms. Fine. On their motion to continue the trial.
If Mr. Creel walked into this courtroom and said to Your Honor, it's our fault, my client understands that she's made a mistake, that she hasn't done what she was ordered to do by this court, and fell on the sword and came up with a solution that would eliminate having to have this evidentiary hearing in the first place, if Ms. Johnson had done what you ordered her to do on December 2nd, instead of laughing in the face of this court and every court she's been in since June, if Ms. Johnson had done one little bit of what had been ordered instead of playing us like a fool, then I would probably say, let's work with her. But she hasn't. She has made sure that she continues to coach this child. She makes sure that she continues to not go to Dr. Paglini. She makes sure to not make an appointment when my client was ordered on December 2nd and again on December 6th, and again on December 20th, he went to Dr. Picault. He went to Dr. Polini. He goes to Open Arms. He continues to go to Open Arms even though the order said 4 hours. And he still got his lousy hour. But he kept going. And there are reports that are done all the way through, but you only have the reports through December. And this little boy actually warms up to his dad until Mom starts coaching, and Mom coaches him before he walks in. And Grandpa tried to help, and Grandpa just got tired of helping. So, Judge, I say no to the continuance because I can get Dr. Polini in to tell you that Mom was the one that didn't make her appointment. That Mom finally made an appointment in January, on January 17th, and was a no-call, no-show. But Dr. Polini wrote her a letter and said, you don't cooperate, I'm going to let the judge know. So she goes and hires new counsel who have to get up to speed. And Carrie Molnar is an excellent attorney, and she called me and she said, I can do this. I can get up to speed. I said, well, your client needs to hurry up and get in to see Dr. Polini. And she hasn't, because I would call every week. Has Miss Johnson been there yet? Has Miss Johnson been there yet? Is there an appointment? And they're really reluctant to give me any information. Very reluctant. But I figured that if I reminded them that somehow the court would find out. Because my client is not the one who's being hurt here. It's this little boy. And he needs to be with his parents. And he needs to be with his dad. And he needs to be with his grandparents. So, Your Honor, I would suggest the following. If you want to continue the case, because it's your courtroom, give Hayden to his parents or his uncle, Hayden's uncle and aunt, who are still in this courtroom, who've been to every hearing, who know how to parent, who have children of their own. Teach this woman she cannot play and do not reward her. She isn't going to do what this court wants her to do. The child is going to Dr. Kolodner, who in my opinion used to have credibility, no longer has credibility, because instead of trying to talk to Mr. Horodesky and trying to work with the child, and Mr. Horodesky believes the child and says, the child is right, the father is wrong, the father abused. This is not they won't even talk to him. This is not a professional that I want any of my clients' children seeing. If they're not going to work with both parents, then they have no knowledge and they are not ethical. So this little boy continues to see Melissa Kolodner, and this woman continues to not go see Dr. Polini. My client has done it all, but Dr. Picault can't get a valid reading until he talks to Dr. Polini. So the only person that's delayed this is her. You've read the reports that you have gotten from Shonda, and you see that he's very withdrawn. But as the hour improves or goes on, he warms up and they play, and everything that's being said is appropriate. I'm beside myself, Your Honor. I have been dealing with this case since June. I referred it to a criminal attorney so that she could help him through that criminal part, but I have been in the background the whole time. When I took this case, I never in my wildest imagination believed that this would happen. I thought she loved her son, and that because she loved her son, she would want to do everything possible to make sure that he at least had a relationship with the grandparents and the aunt and the uncle. But she doesn't want to do that. And what I'm afraid of, Judge, it's what's happening in the press and what's happening in the news. When parents are afraid that they're going to lose, they run or they do something worse. What happened in Utah or Washington State recently. I'm very afraid. I don't want that to happen to Hayden. I'm begging you, please, on a temporary basis, change custody. Not to Dad. I'm not asking you to change it to Dad. I'm asking you to change it to Greg and Allison Horodesky or to Daryl and Sandy Horodesky, and let Mom have supervised visitation. And I guarantee you're going to see a change in this child, and you're going to see that he is fine. But it's been a year almost, Judge. I can't fathom how this abuse can continue. Thank you. And Mr. Creel was not on the phone call, and Mr. Creel can make any excuse he wants, but Ms. Molnar should be here because she is knowledgeable as to what took place, and she acknowledged that her client hadn't cooperated.
Yes, so she went to go see Dr. Paglini on February 9th, and she has since attempted to to schedule another appointment with Dr. Peglini. He has called her to reschedule on 2 occasions. His report is not going to be ready by the time of trial. How is that my client's fault?
I'm not
It's
asking for that.
It's not. No, and what you're asking for,
When is Dr.
you-
Pelini's report going to be ready?
When she goes back. She hasn't gone back.
No, she's attempted to go back, and he's called her and asked her to reschedule the appointment.
But if she had gone in December...
She already
when
met with him initially. We have an initial. She had an initial appointment with Dr. Peglini. My understanding is that he should have a report, presumably within between 30 and 60 days. So after obviously March 13th. So sometime after that date, he should have a report ready to go. I don't know if there's an actual estimation that he ever provided to Ms. Fine, or exactly what was discussed as far as his estimated time frame on the initial conference call. But obviously, his report is not going to be done by March 13th. He indicated in the conference call that he wouldn't be completed with the report within 5 weeks, because apparently he's dealing with some other case, obviously that involves some kind of death penalty, sentencing, and things like that, that he is preoccupied with at this time.
Which was that week.
And then we offered, I believe Ms. Molnar offered, and I think Ms. Fine can verify this, we offered to use a different psychologist. And she indicated that no, she insisted that it had to be Dr. Peglini.
The court ordered Dr. Pelini.
I get it, but we attempted to make reasonable accommodations with another psychologist, and she refused. She basically insisted on Dr. Peglini. So if she's insisting on Dr. Peglini, she has to obviously understand the fact that his report's not going to be done by March 13th. I mean, if it's a couple weeks after, it's a couple weeks after. But obviously, the trial needs to be continued because that's a huge part of this case. And upon our initial review of the file, obviously we're withdrawing from the case, but whoever takes up this case is her attorney. I think there needs to be certain depositions scheduled with the individuals who are conducting the open arms sessions. I mean, obviously they may be called in here to testify as witnesses as well, but there's some substantial discovery out there that needs to be conducted that hasn't been conducted as of this day. So and there's no way it's going to be completed by March 13th. And as far as her basically addressing her counter motion, which is akin to the motion that she previously brought that obviously her order shortening time was denied by this court, I don't think it should even be heard today. And within her counter motion, which obviously mirrors her motion that was filed on February 8th, she's making the exact same request that she's making right here. This is not the appropriate time to hear this at all. Her OST was denied. It's going to be heard on March 9th. It shouldn't be heard today.
And this court is a grown-up man, and if this court decides it wants to hear it, because I filed it with the same respect that you filed yours, you gave me 1 judicial day's notice for this hearing.
Which is exactly what's required
So I'm
under the
allowed
rules.
to file a counter motion, and I did.
Okay, you filed your counter motion on February 22nd. We'd like the opportunity to actually file a formal opposition to a
But
counter
you would,
motion.
but you've withdrawn, and I would object to Mr. Creel even remaining in here, Your Honor. He has withdrawn, and he is coming up with specious arguments.
No, it's still our motion to continue the trial. Okay?
But you have been relieved.
It's still our motion to continue the trial, and that has not been resolved as of yet. And until there's an order issued by this court, we're going to remain in this case.
Do you have any additional reports from Open Arms
No,
since,
Judge.
since December?
I've just been told that they were coming. This is my concern, Judge. She hasn't worked with Leslie Cohen. She didn't work with Ms. Molnar. Why would even Mr. Creel stand up and embarrass himself by saying she needs to take depositions and she needs to do this and she needs to do that? She will do everything she can to stand in the way of justice and stand in the way of this matter being resolved. That's what's happening, and I ask this court to stop it. I'm not asking the court to make a final decision. I'm simply asking the court to come up with something reasonable so that my client and his family can enjoy the member of their family who is being wrongfully withheld from them, clearly now through the games of Miss Johnson.
They're not games.
If you'd like to call Dr. Pelini again on the record, he will tell you what he told us.
Do you have complete names of your proposed...
Gregory and Allison Horodesky is Chris's brother and sister-in-law who have...
Gregory and Alice?
Gregory and Allison.
Alice.
It's Allison, isn't it? A-L-Y or A-L...
A-L-I-S-O-N.
And the other couple?
Sandy and Daryl Horodesky, who are the paternal grandparents.
So is Allison a school teacher?
She was, or you still are?
I'm no longer in the stay-at-home job. I stay at home with our 2 children. I taught for 9 years.
And the children, who are the children that are at home? How old are they?
We have a 4-year-old and a 23-month-old.
It's Riley, right?
Riley and
Riley is the one you gave permission to go to the visits.
Riley's the
The little
4-year-old?
one.
Yes.
But she hasn't gone?
No.
It's only been an hour, Judge, and Dad's been trying to rebuild his relationship, and he seems to do it, and then it seems to be back, and it goes forward. And I would love it, and I will definitely call Shonda from Open Arms, and I think we could even start on the 13th. And then you can find things out for yourself at that time.
And it's pretty clear from the reports, too, that her father is obviously effectuating this visitation time and ensuring that he does have a relationship with the child. I don't think there's any need for a change here.
And it's more
I
than
don't think
it's not.
I don't think anything is going to change just because someone else is standing there when you have a maternal grandfather who, judging by the reports that you're so stricken with, you have indicated that you believe are true, accurate, and correct, then he's providing a safe environment for the child, and the child feels more comfortable with the
Shouldn't even
maternal
be in the
grandfather.
room.
You're
That was
suggesting
the
that other
order.
people be in
The
the room.
order, no, the order stated that he was to bring him, not to remain in the room. But they've made up their own rules as they've gone along. They've kept it to an hour. I had to intervene, send over the court's order that showed it was supposed to be enlarged to 3 to 4 hours. The court was aware that they had done a visit at McDonald's. You more or less thought that was a great idea. There have been no other visits at McDonald's. Whatever works, Amber has managed to stop.
I read the minutes from the hearing. Let me read the order.
Let the order. It says it's forever. Is it just for that particular? Is it just for that?
Aiden? That's why he's tired. Why is he so tired? I know, he's probably on drugs.
What was that?
I believe it's Chris who did drugs.
That's great.
She has 7 kids on drugs.
Did we include a briefings,
We never got one.
witness list?
No, I don't think that was ever provided. There's no discovery deadlines, no witness lists, no exhibit lists.
But we had agreed to do them.
I don't think there's any deadlines. Is there a motion? It's just open.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and apparently I have there's a stipulation in order that was entered into between the parties, filed on February 16th, that indicates that reopening discovery, that all witness and exhibit lists shall be exchanged at least 7 days before the evidentiary hearing, and the same goes for pretrial memos as well. Yeah, 7 days before the evidentiary hearing.
Current trial date is what?
13th of March.
13th.
March 13th. All right. I'll say a couple things. I'm going to make a couple of ones. It appears that these allegations of sexual abuse first arose shortly after this child's 5th birthday. My math is right. He turned 5 in April. And the allegations were made in June. Is that right?
Correct. I believe it was his 6th birthday.
I'm sorry?
I believe it is his 6th birthday.
Essentially, for the last 10 months, then, the only contact that Hayden's had with his father, in spite of the fact that there's been no finding of sexual abuse, has been through open arms. When we were here in December and Dr. Polini was appointed, I imposed a very rigorous time schedule, because these are the types of allegations and this is the type of situation that can result in irreparable harm to a child each day that it continues. The time frames for Dr. Polini to do an evaluation, to be prepared to present evidence March 13th, have been set back 1 to 2 months by the defendant's conduct, by not following through in a timely manner to get the evaluation completed. No. The motion to continue the trial is granted because, quite frankly, whether the parties want it or not, I want Dr. Polini's evaluation. The trial date is being continued. Hayden will be temporarily placed, pending the trial, with Gregory and Allison Horodesky. Visitation with the mom can occur at open arms on the same schedule that was in place concerning plaintiff's visitation. The motion to withdraw is granted. Get a new trial date. You say Dr. Polini says it's about 60 days?
Between 30 and 60 days.
Sometime in the first week of June. Would that work?
What's that?
First week of June. Fine.
June 7th at 2:30?
Yeah, trial date.
Oh, a trial day. Oh, sorry, Deb.
But you can't be with him.
I don't have anything first week of
I know.
June.
It's fine.
25th.
Do you have anything like the end of May?
No, we're between
I get the judges made us aware.
Do we have authority to get a police escort?
They have their visitation tonight. 5 o'clock. Police escort should be that criminal.
All right, I'm going to set the matter for trial on Wednesday, June the 6th at 9 a.m. Exchange of any pretrial memorandums, Friday, June the 1st. Exchange of witness lists and proposed exhibits, Friday, May 18th. And discovery needs to be completed by Friday, April the 7th. Sign, you'll prepare the order from today's hearing.
No, Your Honor, I just had one question about Hayden's schooling. He's actually homeschooled, so what's going to be done about that?
He was, if
He
you,
doesn't need to be enrolled in school.
thank you. I'll get an order over to you tomorrow, first thing in the morning, or even maybe this afternoon, if I can get back to my. I will get an order over to you either this afternoon or first thing in the morning.
All right, and I put this back on calendar for a status check. Let's see what day in March.
Because you're gonna have it.
March the 19th at 9:30 for a status check. And I want the Gregory and Allison Horodesky to be present. Report to me any issues or concerns. I want a complete report on Hayden's behavior, and anything that you're doing to address that behavior in terms of counseling, things of that nature.
Are they designated as the temporary custodians or temporary guardians, or both?
Sorry?
Are they designated temporary guardians, temporary custodians, or both?
Probably temporary guardians and temporary physical custodians.
And then Chris's visitation is still going to commence at Open Arms, or where is that going to be done?
Supervised through the Horodeskys and only supervised? Or would you like it to continue through Open Arms as
You know
well?
what? I think I'm going to have them both, so I can get independent or observations from people that are not related to either party concerning how Hayden's doing.
Great.
Cool.
So both parents will have supervised visitation through Open Arms.
Can I get some kind of safety net as to where the child is currently, so that I know that when Mr. Horodesky, Greg, and Allison get there, the child will be there and will be prepared to go?
Is the child at home right now?
No, he's not at home. He's with my family, and he has a supervised visit at 5 p.m. that he will be
Need to see
going.
about it. He's with your
With
family?
my family, and at 5 p.m. he leaves to go for his visit with Chris.
Right. The exchange will take place at Open Arms.
Okay.
Time of the visit. Right.
Oh, and Your Honor, I do have an order for our withdrawal.
My concern is,
I don't
I'm
commit
out of
crimes.
town.
I'm sorry?
I'm out of town as of 5 o'clock tomorrow, so if you need an order, you need to get it submitted so I can get it signed.
It will be submitted, and I'm sorry? What was that?
She said something.
What?
Right, so I'm going to take a short recess before.
You don't have that's all. I don't really care. I need to get an order over, so
So you can do that, they're sitting outside, so.